What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now today we're going to be checking out this boot right here, the Under Armour Shadow Elite 3. Now this boot came out earlier this year, but I never really checked it out just because I wanted to get other boots in the channel. And also I was just kind of waiting for a nice colorway to come out. And I actually got these for a pretty good price, so below retail, so that's really good. So once I saw that, I just got them right away. But this is the box that it comes with. Nothing special here in the tag, just shows the cleats and the size, which is my usual size 9 US. And this is the colorway that I got, which I think is the best looking, in my opinion. The blue one is also really good, but I really like this one with like this camo. It looks really nice. Like the print looks really high quality as well. It is a black and white boot, but honestly, it looks really nice in my opinion. Even like the G camo there in the insole. But let me know what you guys think of this colorway down below in the comments. So here is the Under Armour Shadow Elite 3, and like I said before, it did come out earlier this year, and I didn't get it then just because I was hoping that I could get them for a discount, just because I don't want to pay full retail for an Under Armour boot, just because I kind of know they will go on sale. So I waited, and I just waited for this colorway, if I'm being completely honest, just because it's really nice. So the Shadow Elite 3 does make a few changes coming from the Shadow Elite 2, and the Shadow Elite 2 I thought was a pretty good boot. I just didn't really like the lacing system or this area of the boot with like those rubber pads. It just felt too bulky for my liking, especially since I do have a wider foot. It just felt like there was just a bunch of extra material that wasn't needed here. The forefoot felt really nice. Like the heel was also really good as well, and the sole plate like was okay, I guess. But that midfoot I just didn't really like, and also it was just a little too stiff or too reinforced, and it took a while to break in. This time around, it is still an IntelliKnit, but you guys can see it is kind of exposed knit here on the sides, and here in the toe box, it is kind of reinforced. It's only in the graphic, so everything else here, it is exposed knit, which is pretty cool. So I feel like the sides here or the midfoot will be a lot softer than the second version of the Shadow Elite, just because, like I said, the Shadow Elite, it just felt too restrictive here in the midfoot, and it just felt too bulky because of those like little rubber pods here, which I honestly didn't think was necessary. This time around, they just kind of went simple. So with the IntelliKnit here, it is very soft. It's nice and pliable. You do get a little bit of these ridges here, which I think will provide just a little bit of friction on the ball. The upper itself doesn't feel sticky really. Maybe on the ball it will, but right now in hand, they don't feel like grippy whatsoever. This graphic here does feel just a little bit slick, and also the knit here does feel a little bit slick. So we'll see how the grip on the ball will be. The upper itself isn't overly thin, but it's not super thick. There isn't really any like padded liner. It's basically just the knitted material, but the knit itself, it is on the thicker side, and because you do get those ridges, I feel like it will have more like feel to it. I don't think it's going to be like a barefoot touch on the ball. And here in the midfoot, like I said, you do have exposed knit, but it's very well knitted, and I guess you don't need like the extra layers here just because this itself will provide plenty of reinforcement, so I don't expect them to like roll over or nothing just because the knit seems really good. There isn't really much stretch to it, so performance wise I think it will still hold your midfoot really well. And then here the lacing system is a lot simple, just like other lacing systems. Moving on to the heel, it is similar to the previous model in that you do have a good amount of cushion here on top of the heel. In the bottom, you don't really get that much cushion, but it feels pretty good. Hopefully, it does a good job of locking in your heel. The previous model, I had no issues with the heel. I actually thought it was pretty good. So hopefully, this one is good as well. And then moving to the insole, as you guys can see right here, it is the same colorway, and it's this kind of spongy foam. I do find that Under Armour insoles are a little bit on the thicker side, but this one doesn't seem super thick, but it does feel nice and cushioned. Now the outsole here remains the same. It's been like this for the past 3 generations, and I kind of wish that Under Armour would have changed this. Just because this sole plate, I think I like the way it feels. It's pretty responsive, nice and stiff here in the midfoot, doesn't bend whatsoever. There is just a little bit of snap here, and I honestly don't think this is carbon fiber, or if it is, it's a very just thin layer of carbon fiber. I honestly think it's just a sticker, because it doesn't feel, it feels okay, but like, I don't know. I just don't think this is carbon fiber. But I kind of wish that they did change the outsole for the third generation. Hopefully for the fourth they do change it, just because I think people are just getting tired of this outsole. And then the stud pattern itself, it's all these blades in different directions, which again I do wish that they changed them. I wish that they made them all conical studs. Me personally, I can use them on AG and I feel okay. I don't find myself getting stuck. Like I used the Pitch Viper colorway and the last generation in AG and I felt okay. It's not the worst for me, but for most people I think this is just too aggressive. So I wouldn't recommend these for AG whatsoever. Just use them for FG. I feel like if Under Armour just changes the pattern, put in conical studs, a lot more people would try this boot. And I feel like the sole plate is just holding it back. Alright, so now we'll move on to the non-feet portion and I'll talk about the fit and feel on feet. Alright guys, so here we have the Shadow Elite 3 on feet. And honestly, they don't feel too bad. The midfoot is kind of snug. But it feels like it's getting better as I'm just standing here and wearing them. So that's nice. Hopefully they do break it nicely. They feel a lot better than the Pitch Viper, the pink colorway. The Pitch Viper was just like that upper was just super stiff. It was really uncomfortable straight out of the box. Once broken in, it did feel slightly better, but that upper was just too stiff. In the midfoot, it was just squeezing my foot. And now with the normal version of the Shadow Elite 3, like it does hug my foot, but it's not like squeezing it. It's just like wrapping it really closely. So it feels nice. Like it doesn't feel uncomfortable. The toe box area does have a good amount of volume, and there's a good amount of width in that area. So it's kind of weird because it goes from a snug fit to kind of a wide, really voluminous feel, which kind of feels a little awkward just because it doesn't flow that well. Maybe once I start playing with them, I won't really notice it. But for right now, just standing here, I do notice that there's just a little bit more space and volume in the toe box. The heel honestly feels a little weird to me. I don't know what it is. I feel like there's a good amount of pressure on my heel and it's trying to hold on to it, which is weird because in the previous model and even in the Pitch Viper, I found the heel pretty comfortable and it didn't really have any issues with it. This time around, it just feels like it's like just holding onto my heel. There's like a little bit of pressure right there on like the top of my heel where the padding is. Yeah, the heel doesn't feel the best. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe it'll change once I start, wearing them, once I break them in, once like maybe the padding gets a little bit softer or something, or it needs to mold to my heel. I don't know exactly what it is, but it doesn't feel too comfortable. Now I'll leave you guys with my final thoughts. So overall, the Under Armour Shadow Elite 3 feels like a solid boot. Again, I haven't tried it, so I can't say how it performs, but I will be doing a playtest, so make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification so you're notified for that video. But the IntelliNet upper here feels pretty soft. The fit feels pretty good. There's just a little bit of extra volume here in the toe box. We'll see how that feels once I do start playing with them. The heel feels okay. This one just feels a little bit different compared to the previous model. But overall, I feel like it's going to be a solid boot. So that's it for today's video. If you guys have any questions on this boot, just let me know down in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you're notified for future videos. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.